From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, June 2nd. Widespread showers and some isolated storms are all across Indiana for most of this morning. Showers and storms could also linger in certain areas throughout the afternoon and evening as well. Southern Indiana could get some stronger, more severe storms, mostly in the form of some damaging winds, but any of these storms in general are going to have a lot of rainfall, some lightning. Even the possibility of some isolated flooding could be a concern for areas south of Interstate I-70 mainly. Now, highs will be slightly below average as will only rise into the low to mid 70s. This morning brings news of progress in the COVID-19 fight. In the United States, the average daily number of new COVID-19 cases is now fewer than 20,000 for the first time since March of 2020. This morning, the American Academy of Pediatrics reports the fewest new cases in children since early October. CDC numbers do show, though, that most new cases are in children, teenagers, and young adults, fueling the push for more vaccinations. And today is the first of 3 mass vaccination clinics geared toward 12 to 17-year-olds. The Marion County Public Health Department is teaming up with local schools to make it happen. The Pfizer vaccine will be given out at North Central High School this afternoon from 4 to 8. You can schedule that appointment or just walk in. Family members older than 17 can also get their shots. Organizers are just asking people to enter the school through door 26. That's on the south side of the building. Then the second clinic will happen June 12th at Arsenal Tech. The third is hosted by Warren Central on June 19th. You can find all of these dates for getting the second dose by grabbing your phone. All you got to do is tap on the Wish TV app and then click on the icon for As Seen on Wish TV. Also today, Marion County leaders will announce the latest information on COVID-19 response. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogg said, and Public Health Director Dr. Virginia Kane are scheduled to talk at 2 o'clock this afternoon. You can watch it on wishtv.com through our news app and the Wish TV Facebook page. We'll also send you an alert when the press conference starts, so really good idea for you to download that Wish TV news app. Indiana University is changing course. This morning, the university says it will no longer require students and teachers to prove they've received the COVID-19 vaccine. IU says students are still required to get vaccinated, but can certify their status by signing an online form instead of showing paperwork to prove it. The school made the changes after discussions with lawmakers who criticized the policy.
We want to make sure that our lawmakers are fully informed, but also that they understand what the needs of the university are and that we come to something that works for all sides.
The new policy includes exemptions for online students and for religious and medical reasons.
The new policy includes exemptions for online students and for religious and medical reasons. And IU Health says it will require all employees to get vaccinated to keep their jobs. In an email sent to employees this week, IU Health says workers will need to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 by September 1st. That would include hospital staff along with office staff, contractors, and vendors. News 8 spoke with one employee who says she's not comfortable getting the vaccine yet. At her request, we have protected her identity.
I just want to see some long-term evidence before I feel like I'm able to make a sound decision on that. I'm not saying I will never get it. I'm just saying I don't want to do it at this time. I don't want my job to be jeopardized because of it.
A representative for IU Health tells News 8 that vaccination requirements are nothing new, that IU Health has required flu shots and other vaccines as a condition of employment in the past. IU Health also says it's allowing employees to apply for medical or religious exemptions. And now to a vaccination milestone. More than half of adults in America are fully vaccinated against the virus. That's according to the latest numbers from the CDC. The agency's COVID data tracker shows 168.5 million people have gotten at least one shot. 10.7 million people are fully vaccinated with a single-dose vaccine, and just over 125 million have received their second shot. So that all adds up to 135.8 million people who are fully vaccinated. The announcement comes as President Biden is pushing the country to reach another goal, 70% of Americans to get at least one shot by July 4th. And legal experts say businesses can ask customers if they are vaccinated against COVID-19 without fearing legal repercussions. Under HIPAA rules, businesses can inquire about people's vaccination status as soon as they enter that place of business. That means asking to see a customer's vaccination card for proof. But some legal experts wonder if that will actually happen. University of Indianapolis associate professor and attorney Dr. Stephen Maple says this is a big concern for some companies. He says they don't want customers to be irritated and leave the store or offend them. Dr. Maple says that mentality already exists in some counties where there are mask mandates. Customers will go into a place of business without a mask and employees won't say anything. Now, to be clear, HIPAA is a law that prevents healthcare professionals from sharing a patient's private health information without permission. As long as the place of business doesn't store any of the customer's information, Dr. Maple says, it is perfectly legal to ask for proof of the vaccine.
We're coming out of a financial crisis, particularly for a lot of these companies. And so they don't want to lose customers. And I can certainly understand that. They're just people that think the world owes them and nobody can tell them what to do. And that's sort of scary, I think, for each of us and our health needs.
Dr. Maple says customers can cover their name on their vaccination card so there's no identification. He says the business would have the right to ask those who refuse to put on a mask. Now, starting Monday, people in Marion County who are fully vaccinated will likely no longer need to wear masks unless required in businesses. The City County Council will vote on those changes that evening. And some hope that full FDA authorization of a vaccine would encourage more people to get the shot. In a new report from the Kaiser Family Foundation, 32% of unvaccinated adults say full approval would make them more likely to get vaccinated. Others say incentives would help push them to get the shot. The same report says 21% of employed adults would be more likely to get the shot if their employer gave them paid time off to recover. Moderna is currently seeking full FDA approval for its vaccine. An online fundraiser is running to help rebuild an animal rescue destroyed by a weekend fire in Hancock County. Almost Heaven Farm Animal Sanctuary is based out of Wilkinson, Indiana. It's about 10 minutes north of Knightstown. A fire burned down a barn and the rescue supply of hay Sunday night. All of the animals survived, so that's the good news. Organizers say money raised will go to rebuilding homes for the animals, to food, hay, and tools. At last check, the GoFundMe has raised more than $6,300. The world's largest meat supplier hopes most of its plants will be operating again today. I talked about it here on the podcast yesterday. JBS USA says a cyber attack crippled its operations. JBS says some of its U.S. plants were able to ship product yesterday, though. The Department of Agriculture is asking meat processors across the country to put out more product to keep the supply chain moving. According to one agriculture expert, just 1 day of closures would cost the company nearly a quarter of its beef processing capacity. Most plants have been closed for 2 days. According to the Biden administration, JBS says it got a ransom demand from a criminal organization likely based in Russia. And the attack on JBS USA is the second major cyber attack on a critical supply company in the United States in the last month. In early May, a hacker group called DarkSide hit the Colonial Pipeline, shutting off its flow. The pipeline provides nearly half of the fuel used on the East Coast. The shutdown led to panic buying of gasoline, long lines at filling stations all across the Southeast, and a lot of stations ran out of gas. And today, here locally, there is a drive-through hiring event. Lowe's is looking to fill more than 400 full-time and part-time positions at its contact center in Intech Park. The company says all open positions will work remotely with a return to the facility in the future. Lowe's says to apply online and then visit the contact center for an interview while you sit in your car. It runs from 10 to 7 at the center near 71st and I-465. Groups in Hamilton County are launching a campaign to fill jobs in the hospitality field. Hamilton County Tourism and Hamilton County Economic Development created a job board filled with open positions. We checked this morning, and at that point, there were postings for 26 restaurants, hotels, spas, and entertainment centers. We've got a link to this job board in the Wish TV app. Talked about it already, but just to remind you, you can find it in this story under the As Seen on Wish TV. A woman from Kokomo is pleading guilty to torturing and killing animals on camera. Prosecutors say they've reached a plea deal with Crystal Scott. Investigators say Scott admits she killed 5 dogs and 5 cats and several unborn kittens. The charges are covered under a specific federal animal cruelty law banning so-called animal crush videos. The sides have not announced a recommended sentence, but the maximum is 7 years in prison plus fines. Downtown Fishers is tough to drive through right now, and will be for the next 2 months. 116th Street is shut down at the Nickel Plate Trail to put a pedestrian tunnel under the road. People who live and work near the construction zone are sharing their concerns and their hopes.
You avoid the trail because of?
Without question, downtown Fishers, yes.
We're going to lose some customers, especially those who are not, doesn't really know the restaurant or just like first timers.
This is, it's really tough because the hard part is this is a major way through here and there's not a good way around it.
The detour is Lantern Road to 106th to Hague Road. Planners say the goal is to make a safe way to ride, walk, or run the Nickel Plate Trail at 116th no matter what time of night or day. And today, a mobile pantry kicks off for the summer. People needing food can go through a drive-through setup at the Avondale Meadows YMCA on Meadows Drive from noon to 2 p.m. The CARE Pantry program is a partnership between Gleaners Food Bank of Indiana and the City of Indianapolis. Organizers say this is the 7th year the two have worked together. And another way to help feed the hungry or get help if you need it, it's right outside a church in Wayne Township. Vineyard Life Church just installed a little free pantry over the weekend. The concept is simple. You can bring canned goods and drop them off or pick up food if you need it at any hour of the day. The church says they noticed similar blessing boxes in Indy, but not many in Wayne Township, so their youth group helped raise the money to make the little free pantry a reality. They say they wanted to make an easy way to help the hungry, especially since this pandemic has hit a lot of people so hard.
This pantry is always accessible for you. You can feel free to come at any time. And, more than that, just know that, you're loved. And that's what this is, an extension of our community, not just our church, but the Wayne Township community that, in times like this, especially coming out of this, this heavy pandemic COVID year, that there is still hope, there is still love on others, and to just not be discouraged, and that people do love you and want to help and support.
The church is asking people to drop off non-perishable foods or hygiene products. They also have a large drive-through pantry option on the first Saturday of every month. So that would be this weekend from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. And this morning, investigators are trying to find out why a California firefighter killed a coworker and severely injured another at a small fire station. It happened just before 11 yesterday morning, about 45 miles north of Los Angeles. Authorities say the shooter was an off-duty firefighter specialist and engineer. After the shooting, the department says it responded to a fire at the shooter's house, and authorities found the shooter dead in an empty pool with a gunshot wound. The firefighter who was injured in the shooting is in critical condition but is said to be stable at a local hospital.
This is the most difficult day that I personally have ever experienced with the Los Angeles County Fire Department, seeing our brothers and our sisters in harm's way in this manner.
The general president of the International Association of Firefighters is also responding to the shooting. Edward Kelly writes, "Firefighters leave their homes and loved ones every day, knowing the risks involved in our profession. The challenges of being a firefighter or paramedic include seeing and experiencing some of life's most horrifying circumstances." Kelly added that the association is prepared to offer services to help firefighters in the county. And this violence comes less than a week after a shooter killed 9 people at a rail yard in San Jose, California. Today, President Biden meets with the Senate's top Republican negotiator to work toward an infrastructure deal. The administration is up against a self-imposed deadline of June 7th. Negotiations have largely focused on the cost of the president's proposed plan and how to pay for it. Biden lowered the price tag on his plan from $2.2 trillion to $1.7 trillion. Senate Republicans most recently countered with a $928 billion plan. Biden wants to pay for the work in large part through increased corporate taxes. The Republican plan calls for a combination of existing taxes, user fees on electric cars, and reallocating COVID-19 relief money. And no more drilling in the Alaskan wilderness. The Biden administration is reversing a Trump-era program that allowed it. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland put out an order yesterday suspending all oil and gas leases in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. On President Biden's first day in office, he put a temporary moratorium on drilling leases approved during the Trump administration. Biden also called for an environmental review of the program. In her new order, Haaland shared the results of the review, saying the program did not meet several benchmarks required under the National Environmental Policy Act. Vice President Kamala Harris is now in charge of efforts to secure voting rights for Americans. In a statement to CNN, Harris says she'll bring the issue to Americans by working with voting rights organizations, community groups, and the private sector. She explains the end goal is to, in her words, make voting accessible to all American voters and to make sure every vote is counted through a free, fair, and transparent process. Since the 2020 election, several Republican-controlled state legislatures have passed or are working to change voting laws. In Washington, D.C., Republican opposition is preventing the John Lewis voting rights bill from getting passed. The bill, named for the late congressman and activist, would reauthorize provisions of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. This morning, there's a Pride Month message from IMPD. The department shared it on social media. In it, IMPD reinforces its commitment to build better relationships with the LGBTQI+ community. IMPD also says it'll continue to work to acknowledge the efforts of officers who are part of that community. A major online shopping event is set for later this month. Amazon says its Prime Day will be 2 days, the 21st and 22nd. In a news release announcing the plans, the company's touting plans to help small businesses that sell through Amazon. Amazon claims it'll invest $100 million through the end of the year, boosting those businesses. The company says more than 300,000 sellers will benefit from a promotion called Spend $10, Get $10. Between now and June 20th, if you spend $10 with some small businesses on Amazon, you'll get a $10 credit to use on the site. And Amazon is hiring. The company recently announced it needs to fill 75,000 new jobs in its fulfillment and transportation networks. You can find out more information about this year's Prime Day on the Wish TV app under the As Seen on Wish TV section. And Wish TV is proud to be the media sponsor for this year's Indy Ultimate. It's the Indiana Sports Corp's run walk through some of downtown's most recognizable landmarks. It includes running the steps of the Indiana War Memorial, kicking a field goal inside Lucas Oil. We'll have more stops to announce this month as well. The Ultimate is June 19th, starting at 8 a.m. If you sign up before Friday, you'll also get a voucher from the Indianapolis Indians. You can find that link also in the As Seen on Wish TV section at wishtv.com or in the app. And IPS is celebrating one of its middle school robotics teams. Last Saturday, students from Cold Spring School competed in the VEX Robotics World Championships. The school says the team was one of only 16 middle school teams in the world to make it to the finals. The team finished 7th. IPS tells News 8 it's proud of the students, calling the accomplishment amazing since they didn't always get to practice and work with each other in person. And Indy 11 is back in action. The boys in blue are looking for their 3rd straight win as they host Oklahoma City tonight. Wish TV is your home for the games. You can watch all the action starting at 7 tonight on our sister station, MyIndy TV 23. And finally, to business headlines. Evansville-based Old National Bank Corp., the parent of Old National Bank, is merging with Chicago-based First Midwest Bank Corp. The new organization will operate under the Old National Bank Corp. And Old National Bank names with dual headquarters in Evansville and Chicago. First Midwest CEO will run the merged bank and says the combination will bring new features for customers, including digital offerings and branches. Uber and Lyft are hiking up fares amid a driver shortage. Uber prices were up 40% in April compared to the same time last year, data showed. But the labor shortage and surging demand means that earnings for drivers are soaring. And Tesla CEO Elon Musk is looking to enter the restaurant business. It's according to a new trademark application with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. According to the May 27th filing, the electric vehicle manufacturer is looking to introduce restaurant services, pop-up restaurant services, self-service restaurant services, and takeout restaurant services. Musk has previously said there would be an outdoor screen that plays a highlight reel of the best scenes in movie history and a touchscreen menu to order food from. And employee burnout is on the rise. More than 4 in 10 employees say they are more burned out on the job today compared to a year ago. It's according to a new survey from global staffing firm Robert Half. That's up from 34% in a similar 2020 poll. Nearly half of employees experiencing increased fatigue blame it on a heavier workload. And beginning this week, Sam's Club is relaunching its sampling and demo program called Taste and Tips across its roughly 600 U.S. locations. The perk was discontinued in March of 2020 as the pandemic hit America. For now, at least, Taste and Tips will be available only on the weekends, and it will include sealed samples in limited quantities. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.